2 in 1 day lockdown. What does this mean for me as a tenant? Welcome to our podcast, Know Your Tenant Rights, a new podcast brought to you by Ndifuna Ukwazi. I'm your host, Zacharia and Mashele. On this episode, I'm joined by Danielle Louw from Ndifuna Ukwazi. Welcome, Danny.
Hi, Zach. Thanks for having me.
Now let's jump into it. Ndifuna Ukwazi and other civil organizations, including social movements, have called for a moratorium on evictions during the lockdown. Where are we with this matter, Danny?
Yes, Zach. On the 20th of March 2020, Ndifuna Ukwazi and 26 other civil organizations and social movements wrote to the President and the National Command Council requesting that a moratorium be placed on all evictions during the lockdown. So this included the issuing of eviction orders by courts and the execution of eviction orders by sheriffs. Government has since responded, and in the regulations published on the 26th of March, the Minister of Justice declared that all evictions are suspended with immediate effect for the duration of the lockdown, which is from midnight on the 26th of March until the 16th of April 2020.
Now, just taking it back, what happens if the court had already granted an eviction order and it happens to fall within the 21-day lockdown, and also being aware that some landlord might still continue for an eviction?
Yes, so in these cases, the South African Board of Sheriffs has actually ordered sheriffs to not carry out any warrants of eviction during the lockdown period. So this means that no sheriff may come and take your belongings out of your residence and force you to vacate. Should a landlord attempt to evict any tenant during this period, they will be in breach of the regulations and the South African Police Service should be contacted.
Now, on a lighter note, say there's a tenant out there who had already signed a lease saying that they'll vacate on the end of the month. Now we are in a lockdown and they don't know what to do. What are some of the practical steps to consider here?
So, Zach, in those situations, we would suggest that tenants contact their landlord and explain that in light of the national disaster and the President's declaration of a period of lockdown for the whole country, that they will not be able to vacate their premises at this time. Tenants would have to then also obtain transport, such as trucks, for moving their belongings, and transport for this purpose has not been listed as an essential service in terms of Annexure B of the regulations.
So, Danny, what highlights can both tenant and landlord draw from these regulations?
Yeah, in these unprecedented times, Zach, both landlord and tenant need to adhere to the regulations so that as a country, we urgently decrease the spread of COVID-19. So this means that everyone should self-isolate and stay indoors as far as possible. For tenants, this means that no one may be evicted during this lockdown period. For landlords, it means that no landlord may enforce any eviction order they might have obtained from the court. As mentioned, landlords attempting to take it upon themselves to evict a tenant during this period, even if they have a court order, will not be acting in accordance with the regulations, and they will expose themselves to legal action being taken against them.
But in reality, that might be tricky. Now, say a landlord continues with an eviction regardless of these regulations. Are there any organizations that could be contacted during the lockdown?
Yes, so a legal support hotline has been created, and any person can contact this legal support hotline so that they can come into contact with a member from a public interest law organization for any potential rights that may be violated during this lockdown period. The number that people can use to contact is 066 076 8845. The number again is 066 076 8845.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Danny.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, beautiful listeners, thanks for joining us. For more information about tenant rights, please visit www.evictions.org.za. That is www.evictions.org.za. Please join us on the next episode.